It's a new day, a brand new morning, a beautiful one at that. And with that, we'll come you to Morning Spring today on Western Spring Television. This is where frank, honest, very patriotic conversations do happen, and it is for the public good. Femi Ojo is my name, and I welcome you to today's Morning Spring edition, the first one for this brand new week. And by the way, the Yuletide is approaching already. It's getting in on us. But then, let me talk about I have one or two things to say about that. Good morning.
Good morning, Femi. Yes, as he said, Yuletide is calling. But right here, our own Yuletide is here. It is our anniversary week, and the activities, they're blowing up in our faces starting from today.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to beat people at the Ludo games.
Western Spring
I'll flog
Television.
them. Yes.
You flog who?
Flog. If you play with me, I will flog you.
No, I can't play with you. Yeah.
Why?
The draws have been made already.
It's too condescending
to play with me. The draws have been made already.
What are the draws? Yeah. I will play with you.
Okay. No. when you get to that level, that's in the spirit of the Western Spring Television at 3, 4.
Yeah.
And then Rave 91.7 FM at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Yes, a big congratulations to us. And it's Monday. It's the beginning of the working day of the week. We are super glad to welcome you on board, where we talk about what's making the rounds on the faces of the dailies and then bring you quality analysis from the mouth of our analysts. My name is Temitope Ajijola Oluwaola. Your girl is supercharged for today.
Interesting. All right, I came out of the house yesterday morning and I could see some, foggy atmosphere and all of those things.
And it just brought back memories.
That impression that the Yuletide is approaching.
I think I saw your post where you said Christmas calls earlier.
I don't talk about that. Because really, when we were younger, Christmas used to be far in our heads because you think, let it come, let it come. But these days, as adults, you feel the thing is approaching too fast. Hold on.
Right.
Because you all know why.
Yeah.
It's a billing season. All right. So many things have happened in Nigeria. So many things. The PDP bearing all odds, against all odds, either a good odd or a bad one, we can't say for now. They went ahead with their scheduled convention, 15th and 16th, Saturday and Sunday, to elect new leaders and, took critical decisions.
Right.
And, all of those things. And 2 or 3 takeaways from that. The fact that they planned a convention, because you still talk about the party, although some refrain from that to say they are not part of that decision. They went ahead with it. And number 2 is the fact that there are many court cases saying, don't do this, don't do this, instituted by some persons who said, okay, 14 of those state congresses have not been concluded. So they approached the court, don't do it. And the court said, okay, it's fine. Justice Peter Lifo, gave judgment on these on cases that suits that has to do with this convention twice. The second one was about Sule Lamido, who went to the court talking about being disenfranchised from, getting nomination forms on that Friday, actually. And on that Friday preceding the Saturday, Justice Peter Lifo gave an order that, okay, for this convention, let it be put on hold until all other things have been done, including giving Sule Lamido the opportunity to be part of the, the convention, pre-convention activities by getting nomination forms and all of those things. But then, there was an Ibadan High Court ruling as well, who said, okay, go ahead with this convention. So in those myriads of court judgments, Governor Seyi Makinde was the chief host. Actually, it happened in Ibadan Liberty Stadium. They went ahead, and a lot of some governors were there as well. At least I saw the governor of Zamfara State. I saw the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed. Maybe 1 or 2 more with Governor Seyi Makinde as well. And then they returned Tani Munturaki as the new chairman of that party, actually, and of course took critical decisions by sacking or suspending Ayodele Fayose, the Oshokomole of former governor of Ekiti State, by the way, who incidentally had his, coincidentally, actually, had his 65th birthday at the weekend. So, Oshoko, if I say 65, and many persons are telling him, oh, guy, you are 65, calm down with this year. And, at that birthday, it was another, kind of one or two drama interesting things happened with the speech of, former President Obasanjo, who spoke at that and talking about, okay, let's digress. But then back to the PDP issue. And Minister Wike, I mean, finally, I say finally because many persons have been calling for him to be suspended from that party, for anti-party activities and all of those things, holding the party by the jugular, being here, and of course, still working for the other people here. And then you have said, for this person that is here, you're working with, you will be the chief campaign manager come 2027. Yet you are still in a party. That party is trying to put itself together and field a candidate as well. But some will say, time shall tell, because there will be different reactions. All of a sudden, two of the governors of the PDP dissociated themselves from that particular suspension to say,
yes, for a state governor, I think. Adama
State Governor, Mr. Fintiri, and Caleb Mutuangon Plateau say they are not part of it as well. And these are the issues. And I saw a tweet from our Daily Files chair today saying, the cryptically speaking, to say the dead cannot suspend the living, and the living cannot be found among the dead. Say no more. That was from our Daily Files, and possibly what he was talking about. But this morning we expand the conversation, because what will be the legality of that convention that was held in spite of different court orders?
Actually, but you did say there was another court order that gave them a go-ahead.
That was, okay, there was an Abuja High Court who said, don't do it. Then, after that, there was an Ibadan High Court that went ahead to say, do it. And then another Abuja High Court who said, don't do it again. So, in all of those, what would be the legality? That would be left for the lawyers to say, because whatever was decided at that particular convention, will it be termed as being legal or not legal? Then the suspension of these individuals, now that they have talked about, what does it mean for that party? Does that mean the party is going through a rebirth to hold their own and say, we'd rather rebuild than stay with you people? Now, in that process, some governors, how many of them are even remaining? Two of the governors are saying, we are not part of that decision again.
And they're still a part of the PDP.
And they're still part of the PDP. These are governors. How many? They are being depleted by the day. We learned this week, all is set, bearing anything, that the Taraba State Governor will pack his bags and leave for the APC as well. These are some of the issues we are seeing at this time, Tokwe.
All right, so I'm going to start my commentary on this note that today, 16. Today is 17, right?
17, yeah.
Yeah, so today is 17, and it's World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims. So those who have lost their lives, through road traffic accidents and all of those. We remember you today, and we ask for the continuous repose of your souls. And then to those of us who are leaving, to borrow the words of a certain former governor, to those of us who are leaving, let's do well to adhere strictly to traffic laws so we do not have issues. Now, getting back to the discourse now, I'm going to start by, reminding us of how this, whole fracas began, how the old issues began. It began in 2021, right? When the PDP crisis began to harden, right? It was time to deliberate who's going to be the next president, who's going to be this, who's going to be that. And Iyacha Ayu was the, chairman of the party at the time, the national chairman of the party.
Benue State, yeah.
Yes. And it was, from the north. Now, Wike was thinking it was time after the Buhari administration, who was from the north, it was time to zone it down to the south, which has been the PDP way. You zone to the north and to the south. Now, Wike was expecting that he would be fielded. And even if he wouldn't be fielded, as the flag bearer, so to speak, it would either be made, a running mate, right? A co-rider on that journey. But then nothing happened. Iyacha Ayu was still national chairman, and it was now Atiku again being fielded as the flag bearer. The issue began. He did not get, to be a running mate either. And you know, well, in politics, sometimes it's easy to be selfish as well. And then we could not also say particularly that it was totally selfishness, right? And then it began. It happened that the G5 was birthed, comprising of certain governors. The present governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, the leader of the G5, Nyesom Wike, and other governors. The governor of Benue, Samuel Otom, was there. The governor of Abia and Enugu, Okezi Ekpeazu and Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, you know, they were part of that. But what was their key demand? Their key demand was Iyorchia Ayu must resign, right? G5, yes. The Iyorchia Ayu must resign because both the presidential candidates, who was Atiku and Chairman Ayu, were from the north, which was a violation of the PDP's internal balance rule. Right? So it was an open rebellion before that, you know, election. They boycotted Atiku's campaign. In fact, they dissociated themselves from the whole campaign. They stood against Atiku. They said it expressly that they were going to work against Atiku in that elections, and we saw it. Well, eventually, Seyi Makinde dissociated himself too from the G5, right? Eventually, even though, yes, he wasn't going to work for Atiku either. But he dissociated himself along the line.
All of them worked for Tinubu.
Yes. Along the line, you know, it was, of course, we know how the G5, when he dissociated himself, because, of course, he was also to return in that particular elections. Now, just to, you know, wrap it all up, now they've expelled Wike, they've expelled Fayose, they've expelled Ayawu, and some others. The question is, why is Seyi Makinde not on that list? Or why is it that he was spared and the rest of them, you know, have been, and some people have said that Samuel Otom and the rest probably did not have any electoral value. Some people said it was comments, because I really made sure I saw comments, you know, from Nigerians. I looked into, you know, through their own lens to see what things were. Many people were of the opinion that he had no electoral value in that he had no electoral value though. And some said Wike will eventually have the control of the party, and that they pity the aspirants who will be contesting under the party because the court may be nullifying their victories anyhow. Today we'll be talking about it, you know, in a broader, you know, and from experts now. I mean experts, people, stakeholders, critical stakeholders, lawyers, to get their own point of view, and then from, you know, political stakeholders as well, from the PDP and from, you know, opposition parties, to know exactly if this convention was actually a convention and not a picnic, you know, as some people said it would be. So,
we'll take a time during the course of the week to talk about it, you know, different stakeholders, just like you have said, because it's not just for the PDP. It's about whatever this will be for the people.
And some people have seen it as something that would, you know, as a long overdue step, and that they expect that the PDP would ride on this change and use it, you know, to, you know, reconstruct the party, so to speak, you know, all of those.
Right, you know, it's not, I would have been happier this morning, but the Super Eagles decided to form a hand. You know, it's not the way it should be. Better luck next time, actually. But I think that's the end of Solomon Grundy, actually, as far as that movie is concerned. But then I won't.
How badly did we lose?
I won't dwell on that. We'll take a quick break right now. When we come back, we speak to the issues. It's the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Stay with us. All right, you need to see your face.
My heart is breaking.
You need to see your face, you know, when you are reacting to the loss of the Super Eagles. Actually, I think they tried their best, but some of them didn't try their best. But I won't rant. You know why? It's always easy. When we win, we use all the superlatives. When we lose, it's a part of life as well. You can win, you can lose, you can get a draw. But in this case, it's more like a knockout. So it's either you win or you lose. And, you know, the Super Eagles, we led actually. We scored first. And just like what happened with the Gabon game, we let it slide. Then we conceded, and the match went to full 90 minutes, 30 minutes extra time, and then the penalty shootout. And our boys didn't play the penalty well. But then we have other things to do. Why the boys are gearing up for maybe the African Nations Cup qualifiers. All right, so let's start from the Punch today. Better luck to the Super Eagles. Do well next time. The Punch is next. Alleged Christian genocide. U.S. Congress begins full-scale probe into Nigeria's killings. U.S. Congress begins full-scale probe into Nigeria's killings. There are some that will say, if actually America is interested, isn't that what it should have started with? The probe, instead of coming like a big uncle to one cousin in the house, saying, I heard that you are not doing well in your exams. I'm coming home next weekend. You will hear from me. Instead of asking the boy, what happened? Show me the results. Where's the problem? But then, it's good that these conversations are being held. And below that, the Nigerian church leaders to testify at Congress Thursday. And Tinubu peace emissary meets Plateau Christian Fulani leaders. All right, and I'm not sure this is the time to pacify anybody. This is either on the Christian side, the Muslim side, the Fulani, the Berom, the Jokon, the Yoruba side. Is time for justice. And it must be seen to be done as well. Because we have really had enough of talking. Oh, don't do this again. Let's live together in harmony. Let's live together in peace. And you know, somebody made an allusion one day, and he said, any society or country that what you hear them say is, let's live in peace. Let's live in peace. You know that society is bereft of peace. And they are not doing what they are supposed to do. If all they say every day is let's live in peace, then that means some people are hurting some people, and you are telling those people that are being hurt, just bear it. It can't continue. How long can you survive that? And these are some of the issues as well. Federal workers demand 35,000 naira wage award arrears. Obaseki failed. Dedo Oshiomhole replies PDP. Immigration, IOM deepening partnership on border control. And Lagos driver flees with employer's car 4 days after resumption. Just 4 days after resuming, you went away. You fled with your gas car.
Flee to where?
Well, I hope he is caught and dealt with. Because if, you know what we do around here, if that particular individual is caught and then is apprehended, and then you get to see family members say, sorry, please
where are the family members now?
And then by that, you are just, not helping the matter. Federal government scholars abroad stage protest over unpaid allowances. I saw these things and these broke my heart. Scholars that are abroad, actually, the thing in Nigeria, right? And what is worth doing at all is worth doing well. If you are going to support scholars abroad, support them. If you don't have all your plans mapped out, just leave them here in Nigeria where they can survive. I remember the NDDC issue. That Galvey or Mike, all of that situation that time, they probe into the NDDC matter where a particular guy slumped. That I remember that particular probe. Until today, that nothing happened from that thing. That's why Nigerians are not interested in some of those conversations. Nothing happened. The guy that fainted at the National Assembly, what happened? Nothing. In fact, Cairo Ojugbo, who headed that military at the time, is dead. So it's almost as the case, he's dead. Actually, I remember Cairo Ojugbo on the national TV, when those people abroad that are being sponsored by the NDDC, the students, they were forced to carry placards. Initially you'd be covering your face because you don't want to be persecuted. At the time they removed the thing, all of them were talking. They were left there unsupported. And do you know what happened? I remember Cairo Ojugbo said they were in London at the time as the NDDC leaders to attend convocation of those scholars that were there. And many persons were asking to attend convocation of the students that were not paid for. How? You mean you took all your people to go to London and attend convocation of the students that are almost being thrown out?
So there was money to get those people down there.
You get the drift. Here we are again. Those people are now raising placards. Please help us. Please support us. If things will not even work in your father's land, do you know you have your way around? At least you go back to your house, your father's house. Now when you are left stranded in the UK, in Saudi Arabia, and wherever the scholarship is happening, what do you do? These are the issues as well. Now, the terrible thing about this conversation is that except something new happens this morning, nobody will be, no earth will roll. Nobody will be held responsible. Nobody. And you keep telling the young people to be patriotic. This is where I have problem with so many of our leaders who just say things for saying. Nearly $3 billion spent on Eurobond debt servicing under Tinubu, and PDP fast on Wike camp reject expulsion as 4-state challenge Makinde. And 2027, Oshun, Imo, Kano lead 2.3 million voter pre-registrations, and COP30 presidency will be clash over 423-man Nigeria delegation. Here we are again. Remember this conversation last year?
It happened, yeah.
And we are back here again. But okay, we have the conversation in the committees. But now that will be all from the Punch newspaper.
All right, I saw that you skipped the Nigeria. Oh God.
Yeah.
We need closure. You should talk about it. All right, moving to the Nation newspaper this morning. And the banner headline here says, Tinubu targets interfaith, interethnic truce in Plateau. It's a little too late for that. I mean, all those times that were spent on arguing, on talking about the fact that all of these killings, I mean, everyone in the administration, the president, members of the cabinet who had waded into the matter, with the exception of Akpabio, who was telling his people not to talk about it, to talk about it. Every single one of them had deflected. Every single one of them had tried to, explain away the fact that there was no genocide or there was no target on any particular religious group. But then we'll see how this goes, all of the truce talks. All right, the riders, emissary meets Irigwe Mieti Alak leaders and secures breakthrough in Jos South Farm dispute. All right. And that's that just above the nameplate to the top strip of the paper. Inflation eases for 7th consecutive time. And the rider CPI down by 100 points. And here, DSS nabs major arms suppliers to armed groups right there. And there's Now funds disbursements hit 116 billion naira for students' fees, upkeeps. And here, UK permanent residency seekers to wait for 20 years. All right, that's on page 31. Well, the hope, the dream of some people dashed just with a statement. And to the bottom strip, it's all in red. It says here, Oshun leads in voter registration. All right. That's on page 4. And right here, Akonde Ayedatiwa has turned Ondo into industrial hub. That's on page 31. All right, those headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning.
All right, away from the Nation newspaper, let's see the Daily Trust. This is screaming and it's bad news. Bandits kill 3, abduct 64. In Zamfara. Bandits kill 3, abduct 64 in Zamfara. And you can see a picture of women and children of Farurua town, Shanono local government area of Kano State, recently attacked by bandits, welcoming the Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, during a visit to the community yesterday. And coalition, we will consider all options for 2027. PDP chairman coalition will consider all options for 2027. PDP chairman, just below that, Nigeria refuses to hand over Bakari to Cameroon. Okay, and Makaban, right? American Congress seeks removal from sanctions list. Makaban, right? American Congress seeks removal from sanctions list. A Nigerian man. This is very bizarre and, sad, horrific. Nigerian man kills father, stabs sisters in U.S. What happened? Nigerian man kills father, stabs sisters in the U.S. Right. And top strip, this should concern almost everybody, especially the lovers. Why bread price remains high despite drop in flour cost? What happened? Why bread price remains high despite drop in flour cost? And Sokoto government confirms dengue fever outbreak. Sokoto government confirms dengue fever outbreak. So much for Sokoto at this time because they're still grappling with insecurity in some part of that state, and now fever outbreak called dengue fever outbreak. And Lord have mercy, DR Congo and Nigeria's World Cup hope.
You have no choice.
Right. DR Congo and Nigeria's World Cup hope. But by the way, not to be sentimental, the DR Congo guys were the better guys yesterday. That was so superb, actually. And, you know, everything ended. The moment Victor...
And that's not being sentimental.
The moment, I mean, I don't have to be sentimental about it. That's what I mean. And, you know, of course, I'm a
my guys are
Nigerian.
always the best.
The moment that Victor Seaman was removed from that match,
you know, the game was over.
Everything, not really, everything went, you know, I just played at the end of the day. But then
that's what it means.
It is what it is. That will be all from the Daily Trust newspaper for today.
All right, Vanguard newspaper now. As bank profits rebound to 2.5 trillion naira, manufacturers shun bank loans over high interest rates. Right, lots of riders there. It says here, loan book size drops 20.4%. Finance costs declines 52.8%. Sectors declining or sectors delinking from real economy. Worrisome trend. That's according to Muda Yusuf. Banks' income may fall below expectations, according to Adonri. And this is fragile recovery, says Ogbomeade. Those headlines are right there. And the riders to the headline, as bank profits rebound to 2.5 trillion naira, manufacturers shun bank loans over interest rates. All right, down to the bottom strip there, the lower strip, it says, Convention of Controversies, how Taraki emerged as PDP national chairman. It also has riders, era of impunity in PDP gun, says Taraki. And right here, to save PDP is to save Nigeria's democracy, says Olawipo Ashim. You can read that right there. To the side, on page 8, federal government targets 160 billion naira from wheat production. Page 13, why North remains backward despite vast talent, says Governor Sani. And right there, to the lower strip now, Sanwo-Olu's aid faults move to divert focus from Apapa, Tinkan Island ports. That's page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Negotiation rule and let 600 bandits to surrender, says Sheikh Gumi. Those headlines right there. And now to the top strip of the paper. Economy, why Nigerian youths in diaspora are returning home. That is on page 7 of Vanguard newspaper this morning. Tinubu to appoint ambassador soon, says presidency. Electricity workers threaten nationwide shutdown. It has a rider there. Emo transmission incident, a dispute, not abduction, says police. UK to allow Nigerians, other foreign students switch to innovator founder visa. Whatever that is, you can check it out on page 9 of Vanguard newspaper this morning. And those headlines are right there on Vanguard this morning.
Right, and that will be all for this segment. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we speak to these issues. Controversial national convention or a convention of big controversies. We speak to matters arising of the National Convention of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Stay with us.